ladies and gentlemen. We are live. Welcome back to another Chillwave ASMR live stream. Super excited to be here. Hope you'll enjoy what we've got cooking up this evening. We're going to be talking about some interesting unsolved mysteries. Some of them real, some of them supernatural, which, let's be real, could be real. I'm not here to say what is or isn't real. I've set up shop in this very spooky, abandoned, haunted asylum. I set up some candles there behind us for some mood lighting, and we're gonna dig right into it. I've got some spooky lighting to use here as well, and yeah, I think this could be really fun. So I'm just gonna fire away. Alright, so the first mystery that we're going to talk about is something that I've brought up in the past, and I think there's a movie about it even, and it's a kind of a weird, bizarre thing. It's called the Ditlov Pass Incident, which took place in Russia in 1959. So in this event, 9 experienced hikers died in the Ural Mountains after fleeing their tent into sub-zero conditions with minimal clothing. Autopsies noted severe internal trauma in some, light radiation traces, and signs of paradoxical undressing. A 2020 to 2023 wave of studies suggested a rare, small slab avalanche plus disorientation could explain much of it. The exact chain of events that led to what happened is unknown, so that's pretty bizarre. The paradoxical undressing, that's all kind of symptoms of hypothermia. So it's hard to say. It's likely that they probably came into some kind of terrible thing, like, for example, a slab avalanche, and then subsequently were trapped and left disoriented. The next one is the Taos hum. This took place in New Mexico in the 1990s. Some residents report a persistent low-frequency hum heard indoors more than outdoors. Surveys find only a small percentage perceive it. Recordings rarely capture it. Hypotheses include tinnitus, industrial sources, or low-frequency atmospheric phenomena. That's very bizarre. I can't really explain that. Apparently it's still going on today. So, residents of this place all experiencing this weird humming sound. That's very weird. Next up, the black-eyed children. This is modern folklore, apparently. Stories describe children with entirely black eyes who knock on doors and request entry, then vanish. Accounts proliferated online in the late 1990s. No verified photographs, police reports, or physical evidence exist. So that's pretty weird. That's very weird, actually. I'm trying to think. If some weird, emotionless, dark-eyed kid knocked on my door, I don't know if I'd let them in, but I'd probably try to help them get home or something like that if they vanished in front of me. That would be excessively terrifying. I will say that. Alright. The Pollock twins reincarnation case in England, 1950s. 2 sisters born after their siblings died in a car crash reportedly recognized places and items they'd never seen. The family believed they carried memories of the deceased children. Skeptics cite parental suggestion, coincidence, and memory errors. I don't know. You know what they say? The sibling bond, especially with twins and stuff like that, is a little extra, right? It's bigger, and they say that there is some kind of maybe telepathic link there. I'm not saying it's true or not true. I'm definitely saying it's weird. I'm fully saying it's weird. It's unusual. Definitely. Twin reincarnation. Bizarre. The Bell Witch, Tennessee, 1817 to 1821. The Bell family reported violent poltergeist activity, voices, assaults, and prophecies recorded in later accounts. No contemporary photographs or physical proof exist, and sources mix folklore with recollection. is any better. Right? I mean, someone or something, some entity or spirit throwing things around your home, assaulting you. I don't know about the prophecies. That's weird. You don't typically hear about poltergeists giving prophecies, but I guess anything's possible, right? Very weird. Very weird. Okay, here's a weird one. Oakville Blobs, Washington, 1994. Residents reported translucent, gelatinous blobs falling during rain, with some people feeling ill afterwards. Early tests reportedly showing biological cells. Later analysis were inconclusive. No mechanism for blobs falling from the sky has ever been confirmed. I gotta say, blobs falling from the sky, that's weird. You kind of wonder if it's some kind of weird military or CIA experiment. Like that time when the CIA deployed some viral pathogen over San Francisco to see how many people would get sick. That kind of weird stuff. Not cool. Blobs. Worse than a cold, maybe. I don't know. We got Grandmaster Crash in the chat. What is going on, dude? Welcome. We are talking about some weird stuff right now. Some unsolved mysteries. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a spooky week. Okay, Chupacabra. Let's get into it. Chupacabra is real deal. Real deal. Indecisive Goose. Yo, yo, yo. What's going on? Glad you're able to catch this live. Loving all the spooky season ASMR. The creepy stories. Used to be so bad with horror, but now, not so much. I don't know why that's good. I mean, I think the thing is, with horror, you have to kind of remove yourself from it. Number one, it's not real. Number two, it's happening, like, in a fictitious place, right? Unless you're having real life, spooky, or supernatural experiences. That's different. But I try to just consider it separately. And, I don't know, there's like a thrill to spookiness and horror. But I think there's a lot of people out there like you that don't like the spooky stuff. So, and that's okay. But I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad you're here. We're about to talk about Chupacabra. Pretty scary. 1995 to present. First reported in Puerto Rico. The goat sucker. Terrible name. Allegedly drains livestock blood. Many carcasses attributed to it show typical predator or canine bite patterns, and several chupacabras or coyotes with mange. I don't know. I've never heard of a coyote, even one with mange or rabies, draining the blood of a whole animal. That's weird. I think aliens do it. Chupacabras do it. I don't know about coyotes, but I'm not an expert. That's what I will say. I'm not an expert on that. Phantom cosmonauts, Cold War era. That's scary. Let's dive in. Recordings and rumors claim the Soviets launched cosmonauts who died in secret prior to Gagarin. No declassified documents confirm this, and many recordings are likely hoaxes or misinterpretations. I don't understand this one. That's weird. So they just like... I don't get it. So they like launched cosmonauts into space who then died or died before launch. And then they were getting transmissions from them. That's weird. Let's move on. The Green Children of Woolpit, 12th century England. I feel like 12th century England, there was a lot of weird stuff happening, right? That's like around plague and stuff, right? It was a weird time. If I was going to go back in time, I would not go then. I guarantee that. Chronicles tell of two green-tinged children speaking an unknown language who later assimilated. Explanations include chlorosis, diet-related anemia, plant dye, or a folktale allegory. Green kids. Not a fan. say, like, were their parents green? Also, you know, that's a weird one. The Green Children of Woolpit, very weird. Orang Medan, ghost ship, 1940s. A distress call reported the crew dead. A boarding party allegedly found bodies before the ship exploded. No ship registries confirm a vessel is by that name, and details vary. Okay. Pirates. I don't think pirates are like registering, right? Maybe they were up to no good. Secret mission, perhaps, or, you know, something along those lines. Because I feel like there's always, like, you know, weird activity in the ocean, especially, we never talk about it, the Bermuda Triangle. Something weird's going on there. Alright. The Mothman of Point Pleasant, 1966 to 1967. 1 year of weirdness. Witnesses reported a winged, red-eyed humanoid before the Silver Bridge collapse. Biologists suggest unidentified sandhill cranes or owls. They don't look like people, though. Others see a prophetic omen. Yeah. There was that, like, Richard Gere movie, The Mothman Prophecies, right? It must have been about that. Like, the Mothman appears to you before something crazy happens. I don't know, but I don't like it. I've never seen anything like that. And, you know, people shouldn't have wings. I will say that. And, I mean, you know, I can't imagine, like, a sandhill crane or, like, a heron or something like that being confused for a person. They have literally pencil-thin legs. What kind of weirdo is out there with pencil-thin legs? I ask you this. I pose the question, it's not rhetoric. Phantom time hypothesis. Ready? This is from the 1990s. A fringe theory claims roughly 300 invented years in the Middle Ages. Historians rejected based on the dendrochronology, astronomical events, and archaeology. What would be the point of that? You just add in 300 extra years, you know? And I mean, the evidence is clear, right? If there was, like, if that were the case, then there would have to be, like, a 300-year gap. Unless you added a year every few years. But that doesn't make any sense. There's just no way to coordinate something like that. That sounds like conspiracy to me. I will say that. The Einfeld Poltergeist, London, 1977 to 1979. A family reported moving furniture and disembodied voices. Police and reporters witnessed odd events. Skeptics highlight stage photos and contradictions. Believers cite taped voices and multiple witnesses. Well, I mean, here's the thing. We talk about this a lot. Are ghosts real? I don't know. I had an experience when I was a kid that I thought was a ghost encounter. Was it? I don't know. Maybe not. I was a weird kid. It may not have been a ghost encounter. I haven't had one as an adult, right? But there's enough, like, reported stuff out there. People talk about it. I mean, is it just a way of assigning explanation to things that we can't readily explain? Or is it our way of coping with the presence of or absence of an afterlife? And what does that look like? How many great stories have we seen as a result of this? Like Casper, the friendly ghost. I ask you this. Are ghosts real? Some people believe, some people do not. I don't know. I'd like to believe. I want to believe. Okay. As Dalen Lights, Norway, 1980s to present. Recurring balls of light have been observed and instrument recorded over a valley. Proposed mechanisms include plasma from dust, pleoelectric events, or combustion of airborne metals. None fully verified. Well, why isn't aliens on that list? It's gotta be aliens. That's what I think it is. It's definitely aliens. Grandmaster Crash says, I always thought the Bermuda Triangle would play a bigger role in my life when I was younger. Me too. And like global events and stuff. Like it feels more important than maybe it is. I've been to Bermuda, but I didn't spend a lot of time hanging out in the Triangle. I will say that. There's got to be something like a kraken or some kind of squid or some kind of supernatural force. But I agree. The Bermuda Triangle I thought was going to play a bigger role in my life as well. Soft Chaos ASMR, what is going on? Welcome. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Soft Chaos, I don't know if we've talked about this, but do you believe in ghosts? We must have talked about that. I need to know. The Silent Twins, June and Jennifer Gibbons in the United Kingdom. Identical twins spoke only to each other for years, exhibiting mirroring behavior and later criminal acts. Naughty kids. One twin died suddenly after they agreed one must go for the other to live freely. What? That is crazy. I mean, twins are weird. You know, in a good way. I think that there's some kind of like psychic connection there. I also think like maybe some connections are more powerful than others. Like no two twins are the same, right? So maybe these ones, they were so connected that it was like loud and they couldn't really see past each other maybe. And so one of them had to poop out so the other one could live without that distortion. I don't know. It's unconfirmed. It's an unsolved mystery. What can I say? I ask you all the time. I'm a bad listener. No, I'm not a bad listener. Come on, you don't believe that. She believes in ghosts. I do know that. Okay. Winchester Mystery House, California, 1886 to 1922. Sarah Winchester built a sprawling maze-like mansion with stairs to nowhere and sealed doors. The idea she built to confuse spirits is lore, grief, wealth, and ongoing instruction. Likely explain it. Grief, wealth, and ongoing instruction. I don't know about that. A sprawling maze-like mansion with stairs to nowhere and sealed doors. Listen, how foolish is it to assume that you can confuse ghosts? You know, it sounds more like an art piece to me, right? You try to walk through this house, and it's like a strange maze. And you never know what's behind a door. There could be nothing behind a door. You know, I don't think she thought that she could confuse ghosts. I don't think they're that stupid. They also just pass through doors and walls, right? So, I don't know. The Island of Dolls in, I'm going to butcher this, let's see, Xochimilco, Mexico. Apologies for my pronunciation. Hundreds of weathered dolls hang from trees around canals said to honor a drowned girl. The caretaker's story varies and blends with tourism. No official record confirms the original tragedy. Well, I would urge you to Google what that looks like, because it's weird. It's very weird. Very bizarre. And spooky, I will say. It is very spooky. Alright. Demon Core accidents, Los Alamos, 1945 to 46. 2 fatal critical accidents occurred while physicists manipulated a plutonium core. Superstition painted the core as cursed, but the causes were procedural risks and human error. Yeah, no doubt. Plutonium, it is radioactive. You gotta be careful with that stuff. Plutonium is, you know, it's as cursed as uranium is. It's as cursed as Chernobyl is. You know, this is what I mean. We try to assign non-real explanations for things that have very science-based, rational explanations. Like these guys were just manhandling this plutonium rod, and they got cooked, literally. Winchester reminds me of the TV show Supernatural. You know what? I've never seen the show Supernatural. I heard it's coming back, and I know people loved it. Maybe I should check it out. I think they were like ghost hunters, right? dozens of dogs have leapt from the same spot since 1950s. One hypothesis blames mink scents drawing dogs through gaps in the parapet. Clustering remains unusual. What? They gotta put a fence on that thing. Grandmaster Crash, thanks for being here, dude. I appreciate you. Did I pick a winner for the card giveaway? Which giveaway, my friend? Was it the last giveaway was the booster bundle for Mega Evolution, and yes, a winner was selected. I always announce winners on the community tabs page, so you can have a look there. But it wasn't you, unfortunately, that won. I apologize for that. But stay tuned this Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's November 1st Eastern Standard Time. I'll be doing a Pokemon opening live with my brother Benji from What We're Doing with Benji and Gord, and we're going to be giving away some Pokemon cards. So definitely tune in if you're around for that, because that's going to be really fun. But yeah, I always announce giveaways on the community tabs page on Chillwave ASMR on YouTube. Yeah, they gotta put a fence up on this bridge so the dogs don't jump off it, because that's crazy. Alright. Lemp Mansion, Missouri. A brewing dynasty home linked to multiple suicides became oh my gosh, I can't read. Became famed for hauntings. Tours and investigators report anomalies. No scientific evidence verifies ghosts. Has there ever been scientific verification of ghosts? That's what I want to know. I feel like no, obviously. Otherwise we would for sure all believe in ghosts. Alright, Grandmaster, I'll see you on Saturday. Yo, we got Benji from WWD. Welcome, my dude. I was just telling everyone about our collab stream on Saturday. That's gonna be really fun. Pretty stoked about that. Indecisive Goose says it was a really long running show, 17 seasons. Whoa. So that means it's pretty good then. A pair of brothers who hunt the supernatural, but definitely good spooky vibes, especially in the first few seasons. I will give it a watch. It's been like in the backdrop of my mind, but I've never actually given it a go, so I will do that. And maybe Benji and I can start our own little version of that. Brothers who hunt supernatural things. That'd be fun. Okay. Amelia Earhart's final flight, 1937. Earhart and navigator Fred Noonan vanished over the Pacific. Partial debris from a Lockheed Electra and radio logs fuel theories. From ocean crash to castaway. Yeah. They don't know. I mean, she was trying a really big crossing, right? I mean, so much can go wrong. Plane crashes unfortunately happen all the time. Very scary. Lost colony of Roanoke, not 1580s. Settlers vanished, leaving the word Croatoan carved into a post. Theories include relocation and assimilation with local tribes, disease, or starvation. The colony was deserted, but no one knows where the people went. Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough, right? The 1580s. Let's be real. I don't know how good the census data was back then. Like, were they really able to keep tabs on settler colonies? Like, I feel like no. So, it's hard to say, but that is spooky. And what was this word, Croatoan? What does that mean? That's what I want to know. It's a weird thing. Very weird. Alright, onwards. Mary Celeste, 1872. Found adrift and seaworthy, with cargo intact, crew gone, and lifeboat missing. Alcohol fumes, a water spout, or a hasty abandonment are proposed. Wow. That's weird. I mean, the lifeboat was missing. So maybe they were boarded by someone and threatened, or maybe they had a big storm and they thought the ship was going down and they got in the life raft. Right? I feel like if the life raft is gone, there's also like, I don't know, it's hard to say. Maybe they all was in the Bermuda Triangle. I'd have to map it out. But that's a weird one. Alright, this one's going to be weird. Malaysian Airlines Flight MH370 2014. A Boeing 777 disappeared en route to Beijing. Satellite data suggests a southern Indian Ocean end. Debris washed ashore on western Indian Ocean islands, yet the main wreck hasn't been found. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? If a plane goes down in the ocean, it's going to be literally a needle in a haystack. So much of the ocean is unexplored because it's so hostile and crazy. So, I mean, it's a mystery for sure. But, I mean, if you've got some debris wash up on shore, it doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. Alright. Sodder Children, West Virginia, 1945. 5 children vanished during a house fire. No remains were discovered, and the fire burned unusually short. Leads and alleged sightings surfaced for years. Very weird. I guess there's probably some theories about whether or not the kids were like abducted and the fire was staged. I don't know. It's very suspicious though. I'm glad that there were no bodies found. That's a good thing. But that's crazy. Alright, D.B. Cooper, 1971. A hijacker parachuted from a Boeing 727 with $200,000 ransom and vanished. A portion of the cash surfaced on a riverbank in 1980. Numerous suspects remain unproven. Okay. Well, and they don't know really who D.B. Cooper was. That's pretty crazy. I don't know. I like what the Marvel Cinematic Universe did with that. They made it look like Loki was the actual D.B. Cooper, which is pretty fun. Flannan Isles Lighthouse Keepers, 1900. We've talked about this before. 3 keepers of the lighthouse disappeared, leaving meals and gear behind. Evidence suggests they were swept away by rogue waves while securing equipment. I mean, it's hard to say. Or the lighthouse is haunted. I feel like lighthouses are classic for hauntings. Did you hear that? Yo. This haunted asylum is very scary. I just want to take a minute and reference this crazy environment that I'm in. It's really crazy. Jim Sullivan, 1975, the musician behind the album UFO, vanished in New Mexico. His car and belongings were found. No body or conclusive evidence appeared. I mean, he found what he was chasing. He got abducted by aliens. I love to believe in aliens. I wonder what all this 3i Atlas stuff is all about. Very spooky. The Beaumont Children, Australia, 1966. 3 siblings went missing from an Adelaide beach. Multiple suspects and claims emerged. Unproven. I mean, it's hard to say. Was it an abduction? Was it like a riptide? I don't know. The ocean is unforgiving. It's hard to say. The Yuba County 5, California, 1978. 5 men disappeared. 4 were later found dead in snowy mountains under baffling circumstances. Far off route. Their car ran, but they didn't use it. Supplies nearby were unused. That's weird. That's very weird. It's like they were running from something. It's always these things like where people are found or go missing, and they've like deviated from what you would expect a normal path would be, but there's no account or evidence of what the actual events were that led them into this crazy situation. Those are always very interesting. It's kind of like, you know, the avalanche situation with those hikers in Russia. Very crazy. Alright, Atlantis. Classic. We have to talk about it. Plato described a powerful island civilization that sank. Many proposed to things. It like erodes and degrades things, right? If it was that long ago, probably everything is largely destroyed or buried, if it's even real. Okay, Percy Fawcett in the City of Z, 1925. Explorer Fawcett vanished in the Amazon seeking a lost civilization. Love that. That is the making of a very good story. Later, archaeology did reveal complex pre-Columbian settlements, but Fawcett's fate is unknown. I mean, it's hard to say. You know, the Amazon is real deal. Untamed jungle. You know, lots of people living in that space. Probably don't want. They're living there because they don't really want to engage or interact with, you know, the urban world. It's hard to say what happened. But there are certainly non-paranormal explanations for it. Was she abducted by aliens? Yes, possibly, right? Or did she find the civilization? Like, what else happens in the Amazon? Like a poison blow dart, maybe? I don't know. It's hard to say. Okay. Oh, a Canadian one. This is good. Lake Anjiguni. Never heard of it. Vanished Village, Canada. A 1930s story claims an Inuit village disappeared overnight. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police later stated there's no evidence it occurred. Okay. No evidence of it. Then where did the idea come from in the first place? You know, it's hard to say. I should look into that one a little bit more. Okay. Villisca Axe Murders. Ooh. Iowa, 1912. 8 people were killed overnight in a house. Multiple suspects were named. Trials failed to convict anyone. That is terrible. That's a terrible situation. That's like really horrible. I don't like that. Absolutely wild. Okay, the Bennington Triangle. What? There's another triangle. Vermont, 1945 to 1950. Several disappearances clustered in a forested area. Terrain, weather, and human factors are possible contributors. Yeah, I've heard about this one. I think we've talked about it before. It's hard to say, right? Crazy forest area. People going missing. You know, we've talked about wolves that walk on their hind legs, Bigfoots, chupacabras, other kinds of cryptids. There's a lot of weird stuff. You know, people always talk about the Adirondacks and like the forests and stuff in the mountains of like upstate New York and down towards Georgia. Like, there's something going on, and I'm not going to investigate it. I will say that. Okay, Agatha Christie's 11-day disappearance, 1926. The famous author vanished and was later found at a spa hotel, claiming amnesia. Motives ranging from stress to personal trauma are suggested. I mean, how easy is that, right? You're like, I'm done with this. You hit the road. What was that? That's crazy. You hit the road, you find a nice spa and you tuck in, and when they find you, you just say, you have amnesia. What are they going to do? The WOW signal, 1977. A powerful narrowband radio signal of apparent extraterrestrial origin lasted 72 seconds and was never seen again. Natural and terrestrial explanations have been proposed without consensus. That's crazy. I mean, I don't know. There's probably all kinds of weird events in space. They gotta produce sound sometimes, right? Maybe, I don't know. I just don't know. Tunguska event, Siberia, 1908. A massive airburst flattened 2,000 square kilometers of forest. No impact crater was found. Most scientists favor a small comet or asteroid exploding midair. That is insane. That is crazy. It's scary to think that those types of like celestial events can happen and cause destruction, right? You just feel so removed from that kind of crazy stuff from actually happening. But I dates it to the early 1400s. No cipher key has cracked it. That is crazy. I'm gonna Google that one after. That seems weird. Havana Syndrome, 2016 to present. Oh, that's modern. Diplomats and officials reported sudden dizziness, headaches, and cognitive issues in multiple countries. U.S. intelligence assessments have not confirmed a hostile weapon. Other causes include environmental or psychogenic factors. Is that just going, like it says, in multiple countries? So it's hard to say. I wonder why they call it the Havana Syndrome. It wasn't, like, specific to Cuba. That's very weird. Okay, we've talked about this one before. The Dancing Plague of 1518, France. Dozens danced uncontrollably for days, with injuries and death reported. That is terrible. Explanations include mass psychogenic illness. Contaminated ergot is also debated. That is insane. Can you imagine? I wonder if it was like, this was 1518, so I'm just thinking if it was some kind of like, neurodegenerative condition, like they were chorionic movements, or, if it was like, something along those lines, rather than actual dancing. It sounds like these people were not having fun and they couldn't stop. So, a non-voluntary abnormal movement. You wonder about some kind of maybe a heavy metal poisoning or something like that. Speaking of heavy metal, the lead masks case, Brazil, 1966. 2 technicians were found dead wearing lead masks and formal attire. Ooh, I don't like that. Notes referenced meetings and capsules. Toxicology was inconclusive and no cause of death was established. I mean, that sounds like some kind of cult situation. Lead masks, formal attire. I don't like it. I will say that. That is creepy. Gloria Ramirez, the toxic woman, California, 1994. ER staff developed symptoms after exposure to Ramirez's body during resuscitation. A controversial hypothesis suggests a rare chemical reaction producing toxic fumes. Wow. I'm gonna have to look that one up too. You wonder if actually she came in contact with something. I mean, resuscitation is very hands-on, it's very physical. Usually people are wearing PPE, like, masks, gloves, and a gown, ideally. And, but it's very hands-on, and it's very physical. And, you wonder if whatever toxin she came in contact with that caused her to require resuscitation, if it was still there. Decontamination is a real challenge in those settings. Somerton Man, Australia, 1948. A well-dressed man was found dead with a torn note. Code and a phone number led nowhere. The note was what had on it, Taman Shud, and a phone number. Weird. Recent genetic genealogy research strongly suggests he was Carl or Charles Webb, but cause of death remains undetermined. That's weird. So much weird stuff happening out there, you guys. I don't even know what to say about it. Max Headroom Broadcast Intrusion. That's gotta be the name of someone's band. Do you hear that? Scary out there. Yeah, Max Headroom Broadcast Intrusion, Chicago, 1987. Someone hijacked 2 TV signals wearing a Max Headroom mask and delivered bizarre messages. The FCC investigated but never identified the perpetrators. What? That is crazy. That is insane. What is that mask? Max Headroom. I'll have to look that up. The Utah Monolith, 1920. A metal monolith was discovered in a remote canyon and soon disappeared. Similar structures popped up worldwide. It was likely an art installation. No creator claimed the original. Weird. results of breathing and ominous predictions. Police logs tying these two single verified cases are scarce. Well, I mean, probably prank calling or something like that, right? It's hard to say, but that is still ominous and creepy. Faux show. Okay, the Flatwoods Monster, West Virginia, 1952. Witnesses saw a glowing object in a tall, spade-headed figure with luminous eyes and a pungent odor. A meteor and startled barn owl are common explanations. Come on. How tall is a barn owl? Let's be real. Must have been an alien. They have a spade head kind of shape, right? Alright, last one, you guys. Coral Castle, Florida, 1920s to 1950s. Edward Lee Shanklin single-handedly built a massive coral rock structure, moving multi-ton blocks. He used simple tools and leverage. The exact techniques were never fully recorded. I'm gonna have to Google that. The Coral Castle. That's weird. We'll do one last one. Isdal woman, Norway, 1970. An unidentified woman was found burned in a remote valley with coded notes and multiple identities. What? Authorities suggest suicide. Many believe espionage was involved. What? That's crazy. I guess her identity is still unknown. I mean, that kind of sounds like sacrifice, or like the coded notes is weird. Like maybe they were like runes or something like that. I don't know. Okay, one more. Paris Catacomb Lost Explorer tape, 1990s. Love it. A TV special popularized footage allegedly from a lost explorer's camera deep in the catacombs, ending abruptly. Okay, the provenance of tape is disputed, and many suspect a hoax. I don't know. It's like the OG found footage horror movie. Love found footage horror movies. And a good one, if you're in the market for one, it's called As Above, So Below. It takes place in the Paris catacombs. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining for today's video. This was really fun. I love going through these spooky and weird, unexplained phenomena. There were some really weird ones here, and I mean, I'm grateful that my life is not so fraught with supernatural weirdness, because it's just, it'd be terrible to have to navigate that. But I'm sure there are people out there who have, supernatural inclinations. Twins, for example, or, people who live in the Bermuda Triangle, possibly. But anyways, I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for listening, for watching, for tuning in. And, we'll catch you next time, you guys. Actually, I'll be back live again on Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, probably playing Silent Hill F. We're nearly through Spooky Week. Halloween is just a few days away.